What's going on, everyone? Moose here, and today we're going to talk about a new offering from Olight, and it's a weapon light. But the bigger question is, are all weapon lights created equal? We're going to talk about that next. All right, so today, before we get started, I want to talk about today's sponsor, and that is Northwoods Forge. This is a good buddy of mine who owns this, David McConnell, and I wanted to show you guys one of the knives that he recently made for me, and that is this Bowie that is made of stainless steel that he's blackened. This is some incredible work. If you guys are interested in checking out Northwoods Forge for that knife that's not just a knife. This is something that becomes an heirloom for your family. You know, definitely check out Northwoods Forge. Dave makes some great knives. He was on Forged in Fire, and his knives are honestly second to none. If you're watching this video as it's released, we are currently doing a giveaway for Northwoods Forge knives, and you can check that out in my previous video. But let's go ahead and get back to what we were talking about. This is the Olight Valkyrie PL Turbo, and right now you can get a sales price on this for under $65. Olight has, if you guys checked out my other video, really surprised me as far as their quality and just the amazing build that they have. You know, you can go out and yes, you can spend a lot more money. You can go out and spend an absorbent amount of money so that you can make your Gucci, whatever you have, yours. But is functionality something that requires an absorbent amount of money? I don't think so. Not once you've reached the quality that Olight has to offer. You know, does it have downfalls? I'm certain that it does. Does it have all the bells and whistles that everybody else does? I would argue and say pretty darn close. And we're going to talk about a few of those things that I really want to point out. Number one is these pressure pads that are here on the side of the light itself. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on a trainer, and we'll be right back, and I'll show you what it looks like mounted on my Glock 17 trainer. Okay, we're back, and here we are. So this is my Glock 17 Gen 3 trainer. I believe it's a Gen 3. Yep, Gen 4, sorry. This is a BB gun, 100% not loaded, no magazine in it, but it is in fact a BB gun. I'm using this because, well, YouTube, it's not a firearm, it's a toy BB gun. Anywho, the thing that I like about the Olight the best, and seriously, I've had this thing for a couple of weeks now. I've ran it on my actual Glock. It's held up extremely well. And what I appreciate about this is the pads on either side of the light here. So if you press on this pad and hold it down, you'll get momentary to where when you let off, it turns off. If you tap it once and let go quickly, it stays on. So now it's a, you know, it's a constant on, right? I do appreciate the momentary lighting, especially if you are, you know, just taking a look around, seeing what's going on. You can do that. It does have ambidextrous pads, so whether I do it on the right or the left, it is the same. If you press both at the same time, you will get your strobe. There is no momentary for the strobe. It's either on or it's off. In order to turn it off, you do not need to press both sides. You can simply just press one side and it will turn off. It's got a very good balance to it as far as being on my actual Glock. I feel like it is enough weight that it helps to balance the gun out where it's not as rearward heavy with a full magazine of rounds. Now, I did say, let's talk about why I like this as opposed to some of the other lights that I've had. Here is another example of a light that I have. Doesn't matter who the manufacturer is, but it's actually got the toggle switch. So you can press it up for momentary, you can press it down for constant. But the issue that I run into is that in order to run momentary, if you don't want to push up, you have to push down on the other side. And it's very hard to get it to do that. Also, the strobe, you have to push down twice on the left side. You can't do that on the right. You can push up twice on the right, but that's an odd motion for my finger on my weapon to push up, right? And have that, I don't know, that feel-good feeling, right? So I'm not a big fan of these butterfly, if you will, kind of situations. Does this light work? Yes. Is it as nice as the Valkyrie? No. It was roughly the same amount of money, and I can tell you that the pattern that this throws is way different. And we're going to talk about some of that stuff right now. Maximum output, and I'm just going to hold this up here. Maximum output, and I do have my notes right here, yes, is 800 lumens with a max throw of 515 meters and a max candela of 66,300. So 66,300. Candela is the amount of focus that you get. It doesn't, you know, it's more of a beam than it is a flood. Intense spotlight and ample floodlight simultaneously, which I would agree with. You have that intense spotlight in the center, but the flood does go out the sides, as to where like this one here has a tendency to be just kind of more flood, not a lot of spotlight. One brightness level designed for easy operation, which I agree with. I mean, a light should be a light. It is rail clamp with sliding block and screw locking mechanism for secure attachment of more optics on guns. And what I'm saying is that here, if I push this in, you can see that I can adjust that for a further away or a closer attachment to my trigger guard, depending upon, you know, whether you're running like a Glock 19 or a Glock 17L or a 1911 or anything with a bottom rail. They're not always, you know, as close to one another. So this is very nice because it does adjust in 3 different positions. I've had no issues whatsoever fitting this on any of my guns that are rails. So very nice on that. And then you can tighten up that screw to lock it into place. I've not had to lock it into place. It seems to stay once I lock the side mount here. This is a very easy twist open to release tension, and then you can just simply push this in to drop it onto your rail like most. Let's see. Ambidextrous switching, as we talked about, with dual tactical tail switch, constant on, momentary on, and strobe. And I would agree, it's very simple to use. Crafted from durable anodized aluminum. It is built to withstand tough conditions. I did actually beat on this pretty well, and it still functions just as it should. I've had no issues whatsoever. And right now I know that they are running a deal where you can actually get one of these Olight. It is the I1R2 PRO. If you have placed an order before, you can log in and get one for free. Or if you're new to the Olightstore, the description will be down in the description down below. You can click on the link there, and we will save you some money, by the way. You can log in and get a random free gift of I3E EOS Vibrant Orange or an I3E EOS Olight Blue. This thing is really cool. It's a keychain light, and when I first got it, I turned it until it came on. Yep. And I was like, man, I think I'm blind. I'm like, man, that thing's not very bright. Well, it's a 2-stage light. So you turn it on, you get a little light, you keep turning it, and it gets super bright. Super bright. And this is just a little keychain light that goes on. It's anodized. It's got like a little compass, northwest, or north, south, east, west. It's not an actual functioning compass, but it is a very cool little light. It's been on my keychain since I got it, and like I said, it's been a couple of weeks, but this thing has gone through everything. It's been on my keychain. I mean, what do we do with our keys? I mean, yeah, I got my keys on me. I have a pretty large keychain, so it's been in there with my cigar cutter, all my keys, and just dangling around, and it has not shown any sign of wear. The lens is in perfectly good condition, and it's held up extremely, extremely well. And as a matter of fact, it even tells you off, low, and high on the back. So very cool little gift. If you guys are interested and you place an order, you can click on the link down below, and you're going to get one of these little suckers for free. So what is it, you know? Under $65, you get 2 little lights. And, you know, as you guys saw in my last video, not all flashlights are created equal, right? That's one thing I definitely want to talk about. You know, here is a bulbhead.com light. We've all seen these in, you know, our big box stores, Wally World, all that stuff. You know, it's got this little focus thing on it where, you know, it goes from a huge flood down to a little square, which, I don't know, lights and squares just don't really, but you know, do it for me. But one thing I can tell you is that my Olight Warrior, this is the Warrior 3S that I reviewed last time, has been on my side. It's roughly the same size, and there is no comparison to the brightness of these lights whatsoever. And these are fresh bulbs. These are fresh batteries in that. This has been out all through this last weekend with the youth hunt. You know, it's got a great throw. You know, Olight has really knocked it out of the park with what you get for the money you spend. Can you spend more on regular flashlights and on weapon lights? Absolutely, 100%. Can you spend less? 100% all day long. But what you get for less is really, in my opinion, not worth the less, right? We've all got a drawer full of those flashlights that we've bought for, you know, $10, $15, maybe $5. You found one on sale for $6, whatever, and they just basically eat the heck out of batteries. These, in fact, handle batteries very well. I believe that this comes in 2 different versions too. I believe that there's a rechargeable version. I do not have the rechargeable version. The one that mine came with 2 of these CR123A batteries, and they are not rechargeable. They are Olight brand batteries. I've been using this thing quite often for about the last 2 weeks on my Glock 17 that I keep at home here, and it's still just as bright as it was. I did a little bit of testing at night with it as well, just kind of seeing, you know, how it would react to different conditions like fog. We've had a lot of fog the last couple mornings, things like that. I did take it out with me just in my pocket while we were on the hunt to see how it compared to my Warrior 3S, and it did very, very well. It has a very, very good spotlight and a great floodlight to go along with it. So if you're looking for a weapon light and you're not looking to spend, you know, $800 or more, I mean, seriously, I've seen some weapon lights that I'm like, wow. I mean, okay, I get it. I'm not trying to compare apples to oranges. But what I am saying is for a very reasonable price, in my opinion, especially with this thing being on sale right now for under $65, I really don't think that you can buy a better sub $100 weapon light than the Olight PL Turbo Valkyrie. This thing is really, really high quality. I mean, you guys saw, man. I mean, I'm beating the living snot out of this thing. I bumped the switch. But, I mean, I'm leaving dents in my table. I don't know how much more I can beat something and have it still function, right? It's still perfectly fine. It's the same thing I put the titanium one through. You know, there's not a mark on it. Granted, I'm hitting it on wood, but still solid quality. Nothing came loose. It doesn't feel like anything's loose. The glass is in fine condition, and I mean, I'm beating it straight down into the table and no issues whatsoever. You know, still have the strobe, still have all the functionality, all the buttons work just like they did before. So in my opinion, that is about the biggest test that you're going to put a light through. You know, because how many times are you going to throw your gun on the ground or whatever, right? Going in and out of a holster, no problem. Being on your gun, dealing with the recoil, I had no issues. I do have a video that's coming out soon where you will see this on my Glock 17 being shot. I just didn't want to put that footage into this video, but we will take it out and we will blow through a bunch of rounds with it and show you guys, you know, that it still functions, taking rounds from Glock 9mm. So, and once again, you know, this thing being on my keychain, you know, I don't know how bad I can really hit that thing, but there we go. Still functioning just the way it should. So, Olight, if you guys haven't checked them out, I would definitely suggest checking them out. They did send me these, but I don't get any real kickbacks from them. But I do have a coupon code for 10% off. It'll be down in the description down below. Utilize that code, and, you know, we'll go from there. So, till next time, be good to each other, and God bless.